Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm back. I have a special guest today, my main man, Showtime Shawn Porter. Hopefully he comes in at 7 o'clock. I'm going to try to catch up with him. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Again, I am back again. I hope I'm not boring you guys because I'm keep coming back. But it's boxing, man, and I got to keep coming back to talk boxing. For everybody that missed it, I was on today. What's up, Anthony Durrell, man? How you doing, bro? I'm supposed to be going live with my main man, Showtime Shawn Porter. So it's boxing. So I got to keep coming back. I hope everybody is blessed, having a good day. And I'm just trying to do my thing. Hey, Durrell, we got to catch up, man. We got to come back on with me, man. You know, we got to talk boxing and some good dates. And whatever you have next, and you know how you do big things all the time. I can't take a request right now because I'm waiting for my man Showtime Shitted On Porter. Hopefully we can get him in. Okay, definitely. I'll send you. I saw you doing that other guy in the UK's podcast. I'm not really too fond of him, but I'll give you a pass on that one because it is what it is, brother. But you got to do it. You got to get it in when you can get it in. I'll let you talk to other guys. But I got a little jealous when I saw you talking to that guy, man. I was like, what the crap? That's my brother, man. You're supposed to be talking to that clown. But it is what it is. So yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing, man? How you doing, brother? I'm blessed, man. I can't complain, man. If I complain, it wouldn't be fair. I'm really, really blessed. Sincerely blessed. Please ask, why doesn't he petition to WBO to be the mandatory? I think he is a mandatory. He is a mandatory for Terrance Crawford. So we'll see. We'll see. Guys, I got some good questions for him. Some sincere questions. Yeah, all the publicity is good, brother. And yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah. But, you know, certain people just not worthy of your presence sometimes, you know. I think, you know, but it is what it is. This is the way I feel. I hold you at high esteem. So it's nothing with me, and I don't have nothing with nobody, man. I'm just me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, definitely I'm coming to the UK. This will be my third visit back to the UK. I'm definitely going back to the UK. I love it. That's my second home. I got my peoples out there in the UK. Yes, RIP to Marvin. Listen, after I got the news, it's crazy because we always do that. But as soon as you get the news, you start looking at old fights and old videos and try to see things that you missed or look for little inclinations of the person and stuff like that, man. And I start looking at old videos of Marvin, not just with Sugar, but just old videos of Marvin Hagler, things that I could find. And it's just crazy how you get to know the person once they start passing away. I think we need to start letting our heroes or our fighters smell the roses. If we appreciate them or we we honor them, we need to start letting them smell the roses while they're alive, man. Because honest to God, and people don't understand this, I knew that I was going to lose my hair when I was younger because, thank you, I appreciate you. Because my pops lost his hair. So I knew that I was going to lose my hair. So I said, you know what? When I shave my head, I'm going to shave my head like Marvin Hagler because I've always been a boxing fanatic. So it wasn't, there you go, my man. There go my man Showtime. I'm going to send you a request. So Shawn, you have to send me a request. I see you, brother. Showtime Shawn Porter, I see you. If you send me a request, I can get you in. I'm trying to send you a request. I see you on, but it won't allow me to send you a request. So you got to send me a request. Oh, there you go. Nope, I did not want to do that. I'm going live with you. There you go, champ. And all you have to do now is accept it. And we should be able to go. I hear you. I can hear you, but I don't see you yet. And now I see you.
You got me?
It's lagging a little bit. Now I see you, my man.
We on?
What up, though? What up, though? We got to give my
I'm
man a
sorry.
round
Hey,
of
yo,
applause.
finish your last thought. Finish your last thought right quick.
No, what I was trying to say was we got to start giving our heroes their roses while they're here. Because a lot of times we wait till they're gone, and that's when we start paying homage to them. And it's unfortunate because it's a human nature, right? Because humans, we want to progress, we want to move forward. But we wait till something happens, and then we start showing mortality and starting paying homage to mortality as opposed to while they're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like
It's
we should.
and it's I think it's hard because we never know when when it's gonna happen.
Right.
So it's like everything prior to then, it's like I think you just always for the most part, it's like you're waiting for the right moment or the right time. You know?
Well, sometimes I do this. I do things like this. I actually, before I ever came on with you or knew that you would ever sit down with me, I did an appreciation post for you. Yeah. And I know you don't follow me and stuff like that, but
I
it's
follow you
me.
now.
Look, but listen.
That's how I got on. I couldn't get on without following.
Yeah, okay, okay. But but listen, the thing is, for me, it's about paying homage to the fighter. And actually the person that fights, because what I do here is try to make the person human who happens to fight, because a lot of times the fans get caught up in, oh man, he's just this and he's that, but they don't know that the person is a human first, and they go out and they say these reckless things like you don't have feelings, like you don't bleed like they bleed, like you don't cry like they cry. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm here to do. Try to get you guys to sit down and talk to you, to get your interest, find out the things you do outside the ring. And then find out who you're going to fight and what you're going to do. But at the same time, it's more about getting to know you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
First of all, I want to thank you for coming on with me.
Yeah.
I know you're doing a lot of things, brother. Your face is everywhere. You know? And I want to talk about that a little bit too. So I want to say you're setting yourself up. For afterlife, for after boxing. And let's talk about that a little bit, man. Did you give that some big thought?
You know, my dad, my dad funny, because he'll say, this is what my dad will say. My dad will say, we've been working on an exit strategy since we got into the game. But that, I mean, that's like, it's a little stretch. But essentially, you know, when I was turning pro, my dad said, all right, well, we're going to figure out how long you're going to do this, and then we're going to figure out what you're going to do afterwards.
Right.
And my dad has always known that I've had a genuine love for commentary and the things that I do now. And I really don't know, like, why. I've always paid attention. And my whole thing was football. So, I mean, I feel like the best commentators are football commentators, but that's like the big plays. You get 12 big plays in a football game. You get one big punch in a boxing match. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Or if the fight's that great, you might get something like that. But I think my love and excitement for commentary came from football, and I think that I have figured out a way to kind of transition that type of talk and energy and excitement into a boxing match. And that's what I love. So we always knew that commentary would be somewhere down the line. Fox took off with PBC in 2018. That's kind of just where it started at, you know. And this thing with NBC has been amazing. Ring City USA. They said that I was practically the #1 prospect to be the boxing analyst on the shows. And I'm just like, I'm bug-eyed, I'm wide-eyed. I'm like, man, I just started this. Like, what? And but what everybody says is, Shawn Porter's a natural, and I appreciate everybody saying that, but I pay attention. I've always paid attention and listened and watched and try to learn, even though I was never doing it, and now I have an opportunity to learn on the job, so I love it. And I think now at the end of the day, I'm just hoping like nobody gets tired of seeing me, Like that really was my only apprehension about doing the live with you. I was like, don't nobody want to see me keep talking no more. Everybody's ready to see me.
No,
fight.
you know what? And let me tell you something. I got my ear to the ground, and boxing fans are very intelligent. They can be fickle, but they're very intelligent. So they go after guys who they don't think have knowledge and who are biased. Nothing but great things about you.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this on because you're on. Thanks for donating the badge. I'm not saying this because I'm on with you. I'm saying this because this is true. People really, really respect what you bring to the table. Now, there is some jokes about sometimes your style, you know what I'm saying? Because that's who you are.
I am who I am.
You are who you are. But for other than that, Shawn, you're 100% who you are, and you're authentic in your analysis on the fights, and you fair, because authenticity is important, especially for somebody who's been in. Yeah. So when you get guys who have lived it, you can say, I know what he's feeling right now.
Hey, you know what's crazy? I did the very first time I ever did an interview with the newspaper, I was like 9 years old. It wasn't a big deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a low-level amateur boxing show. It was me against some other kid, white kid in the neighborhood. It wasn't a big deal, but the newspaper decided to interview me after the fight. I won the fight. And I can actually go back to that moment. I remember being like comfortable, and I remember like just talking, you know what I mean? And that's just kind of been my thing the whole way. It's like, just be real and say what's on your mind, what's on your heart, and people seem to enjoy it, man. So I mean, when I tell people that I'm blessed, I mean, I straight up and down, I believe that I'm blessed, man. And
bro, you 100%. Let me ask you this. What do you think about, because when you look at resumes, right, and you start parsing resumes, and you hear these pound for pound talk, your resume has to be one of the most decorated resumes in your weight class. You've been in with everybody, but you don't hear your name mentioned in the pound for pound. How does that make you feel as a fighter?
You know, and I still feel like it's hard to keep me out of a top 10 pound for pound. And I know everybody looks at their pound for pound differently, and I think I'm dead wrong with the way I look at pound for pound. My number one thing when it comes to pound for pound is, do you put asses in the seats and do you excite the crowd? How exciting are you? To me, the most exciting fighters are my pound for pound fighters. That will be Canelo. That will be Tyson Fury. That will be Deontay Wilder. That will be Errol Spence Jr., Terrance Crawford. Those guys are flat out exciting every time they go out in the ring and do it. And so am I. And so when I look at it, I'm like, I should be in a pound for pound because I'm pretty exciting. Win, lose, or draw, it's you gonna get your money's worth. And I've been blessed enough that I've had some fights that are pretty memorable. I'm not gonna say you're gonna remember it forever, but I've had some pretty significant and memorable fights. But I've heard a lot of people say, hey man, the resume is what matters. I'm like, well, if the resume matters, if the resume matters, how am I not, considered, so.
Well, I can tell you one thing, Shawn.
It's 3 losses. I think that's what it is.
If you ask anybody that you was in the ring with, I guarantee you they goddamn remember that fight. Because me and my cousin was talking today, and I told him, look, we're gonna have Shawn on today. And he was like, bro, I can tell you one thing for certain. Anybody that was in that ring with Shawn know he was in that ring, because you bring it every goddamn time. How you keep your energy up, I know it's about strength and conditioning. Salute to my main man, Larry Wade, but it's more internal to you too, because it's your will to want to be, I guess, the best, right?
Yeah.
So now moving forward, like, I want to ask you this. How many more years do you see yourself doing this?
I'm not sure. My dad and I, we've had maybe 2 conversations about it, and I think the map still isn't set in stone yet, and so it's really hard to say how much longer I'm going to do it. It's weird because it's hard. You know, the training's hard. It's rigorous. You know, the eating regimen and all that is hard. It's rigorous. But fight night is so worth it. You know what I mean? Like, God, man, fight night is so worth it. It's like, it's hard to not want those feelings that you get from fight night. For a long time, I always asked myself, like, why did that guy fight so long? And why did that guy why did he continue to really hurt his legacy? You can't beat that feeling that you get from that night, you know? Hey, you know what's crazy? I told people, and I mean this like with all my heart. When I found out that I was having my first son, I was like, it was like a sun ray around me, man. I just was like glowing, and I was hot and excited and all that. I actually was in England when I found out. I was at the Errol Spence Jr. and Kell Brook fight when my wife called me and told me that we were having a baby. I could not wait to get home. We met each other in the driveway and was hugged up and crying and all that. That's like how excited I was. Funny thing is, when we had the baby, we set the camera up. They didn't want us to film, but we set the camera up so that we could film it and cover it up and all that. They never knew the camera was on. And you could see when my son comes out, you could see I started like hitting my wife. But I was like, you know how like you hit your boy, like yo. I was that excited and happy that that she had done that and that we had done it. You know what I mean? The next feeling that I have, as close that I have to that moment of having my first son,
the ring
was when I won the WBC title.
Okay, got you.
When my name was called, when I beat Danny Garcia, like that, I remember that feeling of winning that title was like that close to when I had my son. So it's like you can't really duplicate those moments. You know what I mean? So hard to say, you know.
And Spencer Ferrin, I just had a live with him prior to this, and we were just talking about guys who overstay and the reason why they stay, and it's exactly that what you're just talking about. Yeah. Because my biggest fear is watching my favorite or guys that I have admiration for overstay. I don't want to. You're articulate. You're well spoken. You have all your faculties. Yeah. I don't want to see a guy that I have admiration for stutter or can't walk right or just overstate. And so, but I get why they do it, and you just explained it well. I get why they do it.
Yeah, for a long time I didn't understand it, and you know, it actually, I think it took me having that experience.
Right.
And after the Danny Garcia fight, I went back to the back room and we were happy and everything. And I was like, I remember thinking like, I need this again. Like I want it again, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to rush to get back into the ring, but I wanted that in like ASAP, you know what I mean? So that's right. I think that's a major reason why a lot of guys end up staying too long, is because it's not that they don't know that they don't have anything else that they want to do or they don't know what else to do. It's that there's a certain feeling that you get when you're in the ring, that you get from winning a fight, or that you get from knocking a guy down, knocking a guy out, that you really can't duplicate, you know? Right.
So now let me ask you this, moving forward, with what do you know what's next for you? Because I seen the back and forth with you and Terrance Crawford. I know you guys are cool. How realistic is that to get your guy in the ring? Because I think the best way to pay homage to each other is to break bread with each other. How does that work?
That's funny you say that, because it makes a lot of sense. You know, right. I'm doing the best I can to create a fight without losing a friendship. You know, gotcha. I think if anything, I understand that there's life after boxing. Right. And for me, life after boxing is going to be a whole lot of interviewing the guys that I came up with and being in the same rooms and at the same fights with these guys. I want to be able to, after boxing, go to a fight and see Terrance and sit next to Terrance and have a good time at the fight.
Sure.
But I feel like he feels like he's being attacked when I get on social media and say things. But I'm trying to make a fight happen. I'm trying to cement my legacy, you know? you know, when I look at Marvin Hagler, he was my favorite fighter of all time, and I cannot. I know why he was my favorite fighter. I don't know him to do anything less than be great.
Right.
And a part of being great is getting in the ring with greatness, you know?
Right.
So I really want to get in the ring with greatness. I feel like, okay, if I say things on Twitter, if I say things on social media, then, you know, certain people are going to get loud and say, this is the fight we want. This is the fight we need. We're going to boycott anything less than this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to do the best I can to make a fight, not make him feel disrespected or anything like that. But I don't know at this point how realistic the fight is. I still haven't really examined all of the ins and outs of being a mandatory challenger for a belt.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm more interested in Terrance Crawford, not the WBO title. You know,
Gotcha.
so. But if the WBO title is the end, I gotta use that as the end. You know what I mean? If being a mandatory and saying, "Yo, I'm the mandatory. Don't overstep me." You know, if that's what I have to do, you know, I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So, and I'm hoping that a fight with Terrance Crawford can be made. I'm hoping that there's really nothing that I don't know of that's standing in the way. Right now, I don't think that it is. I think that it's just taking time for people to kind of bend a little bit and say, "Hey, this is the fight that needs to happen." You know,
so let me ask you this, Shawn.
He said, "Stay on standby." I'm like, "No, I don't want to hear that." You know?
So let me ask you this.
It took everything in me not to get this.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Shawn. How much of it is a phone call?
The phone call was made. You know what I mean? Okay. The phone call was made before.
I'm talking about to Terrance Crawford, just like
I know bro. The phone call, the respectful agreement that we made 3 or 4 years ago, at least about 4 years ago now, was done. When I was right before I signed the fight for Mella, I called him. Hey, I just want to seek, can we make a fight happen? What do you think? How you feel about it? You know, he said, I'm working on some big things. And, you know, if it falls through, man, then maybe we can make it happen. I said, all right, well, they working on the fight for me too. I really don't want it, but if you're telling me it's not going to happen, then I'll take this fight. He said, man, I don't think it's going to happen right now. Gotcha. All right, cool. Hung up for Mella was made. You know what I mean? So I have not made a phone call to him since like July.
Because that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah, like, so maybe that's probably what needs to happen is I need to make that phone call, deal whatever it's going to be and probably go that route. You know what I mean? Right. And come back with answers opposed to, you know, doing things on social media and all that.
Because that's why I think, because Terrance Crawford is kind of like you. You don't do too much social media, and Terrance Crawford don't either. So I think he felt I'm just speculating here.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking he probably felt attacked because he view you as a friend. You went the social media way versus, yo, bro, let's make this, bro. Let's put bread on the table for us. So that's what I'm thinking. That's why he felt like, man, you could have just called me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, shoot, boxing. Since you in the mood to give advice, do I need to call and apologize too, or should I just call him and yo, what's up?
I would say listen, and I'm going to give it because this is what I do. I would say, yo, Chan, listen, probably I took it the wrong way, but listen, this is where we are because I believe, honestly, Shawn, I believe in relationships first.
Absolutely,
I believe in relationships. So
it's basically what it is with him and I. You know what I mean? And I said that from the GO. You know?
Right. Yeah. So a relationship goes further. I would definitely go ahead and say, listen, Chan, I apologize. I probably did it that way, but look, we can get it on. It would be huge. Yeah. And it's a great opportunity because really, we all want that.
Yeah.
We all want that. And because the reality, hold on for a second, Shawn, let me just say this. Yeah. But he has no other options. Errol ain't going to fight him. Manny ain't going to give him the look. The only one people really want to see is you.
Yeah.
And we could do a survey right now. Who else we want to see Terrance Crawford fight with? It's only you, bro. If it ain't Spence, if it ain't Manny, it's you. Who don't even tickle his fancy?
I love being in the realm that I'm in right now, where I get to commentate these fights and be an analyst and on the table and all that kind of stuff. We did Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and it was a network promotion, ESPN
Right.
and Fox. You already
yeah,
know.
of course, yeah.
But what you don't know is, like, every day I'm doing this stuff and I'm marketing and all that, and I started thinking to myself, like, I'm doing this for other fighters. Like I want somebody to do this for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fight night comes and I'm sitting there like watching these guys come out to the ring. Energy was stupid. Like, I've never felt that kind of energy that I felt that night. I sat back just like this. I was like, I need this. Who can I make this happen with? Terrance Crawford is the only one, you know what I mean? And like that was like the deciding thing for me when I was like, yo, you need to make this fight happen with Terrance Crawford. So a phone call will be made.
It's an amazing fight. And listen, your approach, that approach that you did is what got you the Danny Garcia fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Which if anything was what I thought was thinking, like, yo, just let him know you'll be ready, you know, but more than likely that wasn't the way to go.
Not with Crawford, because of your relationship.
Yeah.
But listen, but you know what's funny? The sanctioning bodies, they can only enforce a mandatory on the champion, but you, as the mandatory, they can't necessarily make you fight him. The only thing they could do is strip him if he doesn't fight you.
Right.
But how likely is that?
I couldn't see him doing that. I couldn't see Terrance vacating his title simply because he doesn't want to fight me. I think, and I'll go on record for saying it right now. And I really don't even know how my dad is going to feel hearing this, or because somebody's gonna tell him. But if I call him up and say, "Yo, I'm the mandatory. I think it's a great fight. It's a co-network promotion, pay-per-view. Yo, let's do it big. Let's promote the hell out of this thing." And let's not just get this paper, but let's make greatness happen in front of all these people's faces. If he says, yo, SP, I respect you. I know, I see your passion to fight me, but it ain't happening. I'm gonna say, all right, then it's not happening. You know what I mean? And then I go away quietly. Now, when they come with the mandatory and all that, the decision was made between him and I a long time ago. Let's not fight unless we want to make the fight happen. Let's not let anybody force us to fighting. So with that being said, if the WBO comes to me and says, yo, you're the mandatory, we're going to force him to fight you, or we're going to strip him for his title, I'm going to say, hey, we already decided that we're not going to fight. Don't strip him. He's going to fight whoever he's going to fight. So that's how that will go. That's how that will go.
That's admirable. That's cool.
That's how that will go.
So now let's move past that for a second.
And you know what's crazy is I'm the mandatory for the WBC and IBF titles too. So much talk about me fighting Terrance has turned off the light to me fighting Errol Spence Jr., but I'm also mandatory to fight Errol, you know. So it's like I really don't know what's gonna happen. He's not gonna fight me.
He ain't gonna fight you again.
Yeah, and he's not gonna fight me again. Yeah.
He said it. He said, I ain't fighting. He said he said, I ain't fighting him again. So I know. So I saw you on an interview with ABB Boxing, my man Gustavo.
Yeah,
and you guys was toying with the idea of 154.
Mm-hmm.
How realistic is that?
154 is realistic. I talked to my dad about it last summer. And he said, hey man, there's a lot of fights to still be made at 147. He says, if you start bouncing at 154 now, he said, people are gonna consider you a 154 pounder. They're gonna write you off at 147. Is that what you want to do? And I said, no, I want the fights that can be made at 147. And he said, then you better keep your what did he say? You better stay put. Keep your butt where you at. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's where we at with that.
I know this is a dumb question because you work with Larry Wade, but how hard is 147 to make?
It's not very hard, but okay. I do think that over the years, even there's the component that we've lost getting to 147 fight after fight and it's no excuse, but we've lost power and we've lost muscle every time we've gone to 47. So Wade says to me after my very last fight, he says, you get to 47 every single time we go for it. He says, I've been worried for years now that we'll build too much muscle and you can't make it to 147. He said, but I feel like you're touched and God is going to take care of you. And so I'm not worried about it anymore. We're going to put on this muscle and we're going to work on this power, and then we'll get to 47 when it's time to take it. He says, I'm not going to worry about it anymore. And, you know, and I've really bought into that as well. So it's been relatively, I would say, for the sake of words, not hard but not easy. You know, we're right in the middle. We make it happen. I'm not hurt. I'm not upset. I'm not, you know, sick or anything like that. But at the same time, we know every time we go to the ring, we're not going to the ring with everything we need to really capitalize. So when we don't go to the ring with everything that we need to be ready. So I'm excited to see what happens in the course of these next couple of fights with putting on his muscle and bringing the weight down and trying to hold on to the muscle as much as possible.
I got a question for you, and you can be honest because it's just me and you here. Everybody else, don't worry about it. It's just me and you talking. What was, in your honest opinion, what was your toughest fight to date? Who was your toughest opponent to date? Not what we view, but you being in a ring with them. Who was that toughest fight for you?
My fight with Kell Brook, I made hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think I took the wrong approach coming into that fight. I think I came into that fight with a lot of confidence and a lot of belief that at that point in time I had just come down to 147. So I you know, it was a little bit different than now. And I think I had the thought that I was gonna knock out everybody I was in the ring with coming off the big fight, big knockout with Paulie.
Right.
So I made that fight hard, but hard to say. It's hard to say. The fight with you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I think somebody calling you.
No, it's my phone. The phone's dying and all that, and I went dark for a minute and all that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it's you know what? I have 3 answers for that.
Okay.
And I like what you said. You said not based on what we view, but based on what you view. I fought Julio Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
When I think I was like 18-0 at that point in time. And at that point, that was a really tough fight for me. And I think that I had the wrong perception coming into that fight, and I wasn't as mature as I am now. I think a more mature Shawn Porter. I rematched him. We had a draw in our first fight. I rematched him, and I made an easy night. But that first time we fought was very hard for me, and I just wasn't as mature as I was the second time we fought as we are now. But now I would say it has to be either Keith Thurman or Errol Spence Jr. I think both of those fights were it was like kind of like 12 rounds of war. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah. And I think they would say the same thing about you.
Yeah.
I think they would say the same thing. But now, Chet, I don't know how much time I got with you, but what I do is I collect badges, right? And I take the money and I buy boxing equipment and gloves and I donate it to fighters. And so what people do when they buy a badge, they get a chance to ask the person that I'm interviewing a quick question, because Instagram allows them to ask a quick question as long as it's not disrespectful.
I'm with you till 8, because I know people buying and I know people got questions. I'm with you till 8.
So I'm gonna try to get somebody in to ask you a question.
Okay.
And if they stupid, we kicking them off. All right.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna try this guy. Just ask the question. Well, let me try to get back down. What the hell is this?
I'll answer this right quick to McNeelius. He thinks that Errol Spence Jr. has to be my toughest fight because Errol dropped me. One punch doesn't make a fight.
No. No.
You know what I mean? And if anything, that was I feel was the deciding factor in the fight in terms of the win or the loss. But a lot of people don't believe me. I read Errol really, really well in that fight, and I was ready for basically everything he had for me. So,
Right.
and Keith was a little bit more difficult than Errol in some ways.
Trilly Trills, you bought badges, but you got to send me a request, or you got to follow me to send me a request, so that way you can get your question asked. Anybody that want a question, you donate a badge, and I'll click you in, and you can talk to the champ quick, fast. Just make sure your question is respectful, and you don't ask a dumb question because we're gonna bang on you quick. You know what I'm saying? You sure ain't got no time for that. You know what I'm saying? So, who else? Marvin. What's up, Mr. Marvin Columbus? That's my guy. All right, so we could just talk until they ask. So now, let me ask you this: when you first got your first big check, your first check, what was the? I know it's a long way. You got a lot of
like, I don't know.
after that. You couldn't even think about it, right?
Yeah,
but what was the first thing that you bought for yourself?
The first thing that comes to mind is my Panamera that I have. And this is the thing. My dad, I ordered my Panamera, I think 3 months before I fought Errol Spence Jr. And it took and so I designed my Panamera. So it's like, special edition, only one, designed or whatever. So it took it a minute for me to get it. I think I didn't get my Panamera for like 7 months or something like that. So I think I ordered it in August and I didn't get it until February of 20.
Yeah, that thing is sick.
2019. And so we went out and we did it big. I ordered the package for my dad so that he could be a part of it and drive, my wife so she could be a part of it and drive.
Yeah.
And my dad was posting, as we were going through everything, and everybody thought that I purchased that car with the money that I had won from Errol Spence Jr.
Right.
But people y'all don't understand that I've made money before I fought Errol Spence.
Of course. I mean, yeah.
And I take care of myself. So
right.
when I went out and got that, it was simply because that was what I wanted to do and what I wanted. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's what he gonna do with his Errol Spence Jr. check." No, that check's still pretty much in the bank and making money for itself and all that. But I think the Panamera is really the only thing I've really purchased for myself.
Oh wow!
My wife and I, we bought a house last year. We live like 30-second bike ride from my dad's house now. So.
Oh man, Mr. Showtime, how's it going,
What's
champ?
going on, boss?
Hey, what's going on, champ? So listen, man, I've been big fan. What's going on?
How you living under that hat, man? I'm struggling with life. You doing all right?
I'm on the way to the gym myself anyway, so they be all right. They don't care.
Oh,
you know that.
You good? You going to the gym?
So and I do want to say, champ, I did look. I live in Maryland. I did fly out to LA to go watch you and Errol Spence. And we paid a pretty penny for them seats too, man. And that was a great fight. Man, so I do appreciate that, man. So this is my question for you, champ. You got your peers, your Errol Spences, your Terrance Crawfords. You got those guys, right? So we see Terrance. We see after Errol Spence fought you, then and not until then did they put him on the pound for pound list after beating Shawn Porter. Then you got Keith Thurman, unified champion, right? Then you got Terrance Crawford. He was undisputed at 140. Now he holds the WBO title, right? So I hear you saying, talking a lot about the friendship, talking about, how you don't want to, muddy those kind of waters because you want to be able to come back after. But, and granted, I follow you. I know that you've had that success, and I know that you've hit certain plateaus. But we're seeing Errol now in the pound for pound, and Terrance getting his undisputed at 140. It don't give you that burn to just be like, you know what? No matter what, I have to make this fight because when I'm sitting down and I'm 50 years old or I'm 60 years old and they're looking back at Mr. Porter, I want them to be able to say Shawn Porter took that fight and won or made history or that was legendary of him.
Yeah, and I think that's why I even talk about the Terrance Crawford fight in the first place because I see the kind of greatness. I just know that fight is gonna be great. You know, I just know it straight up and down. I talked about the energy with that Deontay Wilder and Terrance and Tyson Fury fight. The energy with my fight in Errol Spence Jr. was stupid. The energy with my fight and Keith Thurman, that one was stupid too. You know what I mean? So I know that it's gonna be great. And I think that's what gives me that desire to do what I've done to this point. I don't know if you saw, but Boxing Science gave me some relatively good advice.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna take it and implement and trying to make the fight happen. But at the end of the day, like I said, if the fight doesn't happen between myself and Terrance Crawford, there's a level of respect there that I'm not gonna get outside myself
for sure
just to get what I think I want, because if he's saying, yo, it ain't the time, you need to be on standby or anything like that, I kind of feel like that's the pill that I have to swallow, because that's kind of what I owe to him as a friend of his and he to myself, you know what I mean? So I'm telling you, like the agreement that we made goes all the way back to like 2017.
For sure.
You know, so you can't, you know, time and or people really can't water down
for sure
that agreement that he and I made. You know what I mean? So
and I give you, before I go, and I give you this one famous quote that my dad always told me when I was young. He said, "If you love me, baby, get some money with me."
That's it.
So,
hey,
if you love me, baby, get some money with me. You know what I'm saying?
And I
agree with you,
if you love me, get some money with me. I'm all about quotes, man. I'm writing that one down. But that's basically what you said earlier too. You said, you know, hey, yo, if y'all good friends, yo, why don't y'all break bread together?
And
it makes a whole lot of sense.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I got respect for both of you guys. And I think that, you know, like I said, it's just a conversation. And I believe 100% that should you have that conversation, if the money is right, because now we have because I think that there was something floating around, Shawn, with you had mentioned publicly about Top Rank giving you a lowball offer or something like that.
Yeah, there were reports like here and there put out.
Okay.
And the report was that Bob Arum would offer me $2 million.
Okay.
And I just, you know, even I'll say it again, I don't think that is enough for us to get down in the ring and do what we do, you know.
No, I think, I mean, who am I to put a value on anything? But I mean, if you got guys like Devin Haney making $3 million to fight, there's no way that you should be offered $2 million. It's just not. Yeah. You know what I
mean? And my whole thing with that is my. Hey, yo, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, love you, champ. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate that move to go to LA too, man. That's big,
man. Hey, whenever the fans come out, I'll be there again. You put the asses in the seat, champ. That's what we want to see.
All the time, man. Like y'all are like a big reason why I do this, man. Like it's always worth it for me, because I know the effect that it has on y'all. You know what I mean? So y'all are a big reason why I do this, man. I appreciate you reaching out.
Appreciate it. Love, champ.
Ty, what's up, man?
All right.
Ty Barnett is in the house. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, like I was saying though, my dad, I trust my dad, and I know my dad is always gonna do what's right for me. You know, if my dad comes to me and say, hey, $2 million is what the fight is, that's what we gonna get paid. I'm looking at $2 million in greatness, and this is what the best my dad tells me we can do, then we gonna go out there and do it. But I'm not gonna accept anything less than what my dad is gonna get from me.
Got you. You know, I got a funny story for with your dad. We was in a Barclay, right? And he was walking by, and I was like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" And I shook his hand, and you know, I did like a firm handshake, and he had some rings on, and I squeezed his hand. He was like, "Man, goddamn!"
Yeah.
He's like, "What the hell are you doing, man?"
So you the reason why he wears 7 rings now.
Yeah.
He got a pinky ring on both hands.
Yeah. It was funny, man. It was funny. Yeah, but listen, Kent, I'm just gonna say this, man. I really, really appreciate you taking your time with me, bro. This has been amazing. Energy is great. The rapport is great, bro. I wish nothing but success for you and whatever steps you go. If it's Crawford, whoever you choose, man, I wish you nothing but success. You got 100% support here, and I think everybody here is with you, man. And we want to see you win. You know, and that's whether you win or win. We just want the best for you, man. And
yes,
the best
sir.
fights too.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for taking your time out.
Yeah,
and everything
man.
else.
Yeah, man. No problem, man. We'll set it up again, man. The way we did it was perfect. So if you want to do it again, we can do it again.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. And
yep.
Enjoy, man. Thank you, bro.
You too, man. Thank you.
So that was my main man, Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter is the man, and he's doing great things. I appreciate you guys for stopping by, checking in. I'm going to go pick cotton because I got to go to work. This don't pay the bills yet. Not yet. I'm working on it, but it doesn't pay the bills. So I appreciate you guys for checking in. And I got some more fire coming for you. I got some good interviews coming. So thank you. And I'm going to be bouncing out. Peace.